Career Compass, in partnership with the National University of Singapore.
That's right. I'm Stanley Leong with Susan Ng. Thank you for joining us today. Where students get to break out of silos and where there is an emphasis on the interface and interplay between disciplines. Now, this is the College of the Humanities and Sciences at the National University of Singapore.
And students have the freedom and flexibility to explore different subjects and to chart their own pathway as they have access to the facilities and courses in both the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences and the Faculty of Sciences. And we'll get to know the college better now by speaking with Associate Professor Loy Hui Chie, who is Vice Dean, External Relations and Student Life at the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences at the National University of Singapore. And Professor Loy is also Vice Dean Designate at the NUS College, faculty member at the Department of Philosophy and at the University Scholars Program.
And joining Associate Professor Loy is Professor Saw Chon Hao, who is a Vice Dean, Outreach and Admissions with the Faculty of Sciences at the NUS. He has authored and co-authored many papers in the field of nanoscience and nanomaterials and is the recipient of multiple university and faculty level teaching excellence awards. Professors, good to have both of you with us. Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
Let's start with Professor Loy. Associate Professor Loy, introduce us firstly to your college, which is the College of Humanities and Sciences. How broad and extensive are your programs that you offer students?
Yes, so College of Humanities and Sciences, or CHS as we call it around here, have access to something like 30 over majors and 70 minors, covering Asian studies, humanities, social sciences, as well as the natural and mathematical sciences. But we are not just about the majors, right? It's not just about the disciplines, but more importantly, all the students are also given foundational training in writing, data literacy, digital literacy, artificial intelligence, design thinking, as well as opportunities in communities and engagement. The curriculum is student-led, offering flexibility for them to tailor how much depth or breadth they want according to their own interests and ambition, because our aim is really to give them an education that helps them break out of silos. So even a deep specialist will be prepared to interface with other disciplines. In this way, they're better prepared for careers in the rather more uncertain world we now live in, as they have more of a learning mindset and the readiness to make lateral moves.
Professor So, explain to us the rationale behind your college's emphasis on the interplay between humanities and sciences. I mean, these are two very contrasting disciplines, and yet when you think about it, they are related in some way, aren't they? Give us an idea of the kinds of combinations, options that are available to students.
Thank you, Susan. Yeah, the world we live in is indeed very uncertain with continual technological change and disruptions like COVID-19. At the same time, the complex problems of today, whether climate change or the pandemic, cannot be solved by a single discipline expert. So this is the reason why the College of Humanities and Sciences, CHS, was set up. CHS does not only provide our students exposure to different disciplines. More importantly, CHS focuses on integrating knowledge across the humanities and sciences. Our graduates will be able to connect knowledge from vastly different fields to solve problems. So as what Professor mentioned, CHS students can choose from around 30 majors, primary majors, 30 secondary majors, around 70 minors and 20 specializations offered by both Faculty of Science and Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. The possibilities are almost endless.
Yeah, it's really a good, basket of different subjects that they could choose to take, the majors and minors, like you mentioned, making them really quite well-rounded. And they have, the options there. So if they have certain passions and pursuits with regard to disciplines, that could also definitely be of an advantage to them. Now, let's also talk about the College of Humanities and Sciences. And what must be emphasized is that it is not a merger of both the NUS Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences and the Faculty of Science. In fact, both faculties continue to exist, I understand, as separate entities, and that the College of Humanities and Sciences is an enhanced undergraduate experience for students from both those faculties. So, which faculty would I belong to if I enroll, say, in CHS?
Yes, Danny, you're right. Yeah, both faculties continue to exist as separate entities. However, students now enroll into CHS instead of directly into FOS or FASS. But once you have declared your first major, you will become a student of that faculty that hosts that major. Let's say I declare a major in physics, then I will become a student of the Faculty of Science. And if I declare a major in psychology, I belong to the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. So depending on your first major, CHS offer 3 types of degree: the Bachelor of Arts, the Bachelor of Social Sciences, and the Bachelor of Science.
Okay. So your first degree will determine that. So what are the degrees that will be awarded to CHS students?
Yeah, so the degrees will be Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Social Sciences, and Bachelor of Science, depending on their major. Yeah.
Right.
Right. So, Professor Loy, the other thing that your college stresses is a student-led learning experience. I'm quite keen on this, actually. Explain how this takes place.
Okay, so it sounds more mysterious than it actually is. Really, so students, for instance, could choose to become deep specialists in a single major, or they might want to integrate 2 different majors, or perhaps a major and several minors, or even just other courses of their own choice. And by the way, second major and minors can even come from outside of CHS, from business, from computing, from engineering, for instance, right? So the point really is to give students the chance to chart their own pathways through a variety of major and minor combinations to decide how specialized or how generalist they want to be. That said, multiple resources for guidance and advising will be available to help them navigate all these different kinds of choices. This range from their own professors, supervisors, career advisors at the NUS Center for Future Ready Graduates, and not to mention mentors from the various industries that we are connected to as well. And of course, even ground-up mentorship initiatives by the 2 faculties. We're not really afraid that students will make unbalanced choices, because the essential transferable skills that everyone is going to need, no matter how much of a deep specialist or how wide of a generalist they want to be, are all in the foundational common curriculum.
Okay, that's good to know as well. But would you know, Professor Loy, if there is a greater demand for generalists or specialists, deep specialists in certain fields? Is your school able to guide students in their decision making?
Yes, so the Center for Future Ready Graduates play a very important role there, because we want to bring in industry experts, people who are actually from those industries, to come advise our students, to give them ideas about what is available out there. So I think that's one very important data point. But the other one is, in many ways, it really has to follow the students' own interest. So no one is going to study well in something that they don't like. So we want to make sure that we support the students' ambitions as much as possible. Yeah, I hope that helps a bit. Yeah.
Well, it does help. I mean, if I were to do something that I'm really keen on, for example, lead a project, even though it is not from my faculty, I would do better. Have you seen this happen, though?
Yes, actually, it does happen, because NUS is quite a large and diverse campus with many, many disciplines and many different faculties. And our students are often already quite as the motivated ones among them. They look for things to do, not necessarily for their own faculty. They may find friends from other faculties to do projects together. They may even go look up opportunities to be research assistants from other faculties. That has always been the case, actually. And CHS, in a way, helps to, give this a push as well. Just to remind our students that don't be completely siloed. Make sure that even if you're a deep specialist, you are the kind of person who is ready to make lateral moves and learn new things. Yeah.
All right. Now, Professor Saw, let's come back to you, because I read that CHS students chart their own pathways. They can choose to either be a versatilist, an integrator, or deep specialist, something that Professor Loy also mentioned. Talk to us about some of the students that you have and the choices that they have made to be one of those things: versatilist, integrator, deep specialist.
Thank you, Stanley. Yeah. So under the CHS curriculum structures, we divide the programs roughly into about one third. One third is common curriculum, one third is your major, and then the other one third is what we call the unrestricted elective. So our students can use their unrestricted elective to explore greater breadth or depth in any subject and at any level. So you get to decide how specialized or how broad-based you want in terms of your learning. Yeah. So now if you are passionate about a particular subject, you can use your unrestricted elective to dive deep into that field and become what we call a deep specialist. Or if you're interested to discover links between even the most seemingly disparate subjects, like taking what we call the integrator route, so you can have what we call a primary major and a secondary major in another subject. Yeah. Or if you do not want to do a second major, you can become what we call a versatilist. Explore something new, right? No matter what your route, what route you take, CHS will provide the foundation and exposure to support your aspirations. Pretty much, it's the students who decide what they want to do with their education journey here.
I do like the sound of that, Professor Saw, I have to tell you. Especially the unrestricted elective. Boy, I would be so unrestricted in my choices, I think. We're speaking on Career Compass with Associate Professor Loy Hui Chie, who is Vice Dean, External Relations and Student Life at the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, and Professor Saw Chong Ho, Vice Dean, Outreach and Admissions with the Faculty of Sciences, and both at the National University of Singapore. Coming back to you, Professor Loy, let's talk about career pathways. I mean, people think about the future whilst they're still in school. Many select subjects and that's the right thing to do. But now that you have these electives where they can also select things that they enjoy, talk to us about some of the career pathways that might be possible for students who embark on this education journey at the College of Humanities and Sciences.
Okay, so, to be strict about it, CHS hasn't actually graduated anyone yet. We just took in our first cohort last year, right?
Yeah.
However, we do have plenty of historical data from both the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences and the Faculty of Science. So we know that while many of our graduates do pursue options in jobs closely related to their major training, at least according to a common way of thinking, many do other interesting things too. So, for instance, many science students do work in research labs in Singapore and beyond, helping to drive research and innovation. And likewise, just to give some examples, our social work graduates definitely supply many social workers, and our psychology program works in psychology-related fields, and many of our economics students work in the finance industry. But there are also many other apparently surprising outcomes. So a few years ago, I ran into one of our sociology graduates at a major investment bank, NMC Bank actually, and a colleague from the life science department was telling me about a philosophy graduate who went on to Duke NUS to pursue a medical career.
Wow.
Since I'm on philosophy, I'll say more about them. But, another philosophy graduate is the founder of a technology startup. She's now all about blockchains nowadays. Several director producers, including Singapore's first recipient of a Golden Horse Award, Chris Yeo, one of the directors.
Yeah.
There are also science graduates who become artists and people who work in films and founders of social enterprises and so on, so forth. Now, the important thing is that all of them are using what they have learned in whatever fields they go into because that's what they are passionate about, because those are the chosen areas where they want to leave an impact and add value to the people and communities around them. I think that is actually much more important for us to be able to support them that way. Well, with the curriculum that we have, right, they do what they do in NUS because that's what they're interested in, and they want to use it in a variety of places all around Singapore and beyond.
Professor Loy, so clearly we shouldn't be pigeonholing our students because you never know where the winds might take them, and the breadth and depth of their interests and their abilities as well. Now let's get back to Professor Saw. What advice, Professor Saw, would you give to young adults at the crossroads of deciding on the course, the school, the college to enroll in, and why CHS would make a sound proposition?
Yes, certainly, yeah. So my advice to them will be to take the time to consider your interests and weigh your choices carefully. This will help you to figure out which course to enroll in. In considering CHS, I'm happy to share that our inaugural run attracted strong numbers of high-quality participants. Some of our Year 1 students attributed their choice of CHS to the flexible curriculum, which gave them the time and space to explore their interests before declaring their majors. CHS also bring together the best of both faculties in terms of the academic rigors of our courses, vibrant student lives, research opportunities, and other enrichment learning opportunities that will offer a rewarding and collegial experience. So the students will come away with a holistic learning experience and with networks and friendship that will last beyond universities.
Professor Loy, even as we're speaking now, the college open house is actually happening right now, actually, and the employer forum starts at 1 o'clock today. Talk to us about this, an idea of what we can expect from the forum.
So we invited 4 leaders from different industries who will share about trends and perspectives, right? So there's someone who is a data officer at Grab Singtel. I won't name them. There's a founder and managing director of Greenology, representing the green and sustainability industry. There's someone from the media group, Singapore Press Holdings, right? And then someone from business development at Transmedic, which is a biomedical, representing biomedical sector. I'm sure the issue or the value of an interdisciplinary education for the future workplace will be part of the conversation, right? And likewise, the key attributes that employers are looking for in graduates. But I told the panelists that this is not really their job to advertise for our program or for CHS. Rather, we hope that their sharing will inform the young people who are currently applying for university or perhaps even their younger siblings who are thinking about pre-university subject choices. So think of it as something like a PSA that NUS is organizing for young people. Yeah.
Right. And apart from the Employer Forum, there are going to be also exciting topical sessions taking place this afternoon as well as part of the open house. Professor, so how can one register to attend?
Yes, go to our CHS website. So the online portal is already there. So the students can sign up and then go into many, many different talks. In fact, we have a series of talks starting from 11 a.m. on cross-disciplinary programs, which focus on the tight integrations of multiple disciplines. For example, CHS offers 3 programs: data science and economics, environmental studies, and philosophy, politics, and economics. See, as the name suggests, this is really integrated different disciplines together to teach the students. Yeah. And then from 2 p.m. onward today, both faculties will be running talks on our respective academic programs on the various disciplines.
All right, Professor Saw Chon Hao is the Vice Dean Outreach and Admissions with the Faculty of Sciences at the NUS, joined by Associate Professor Loy Hui Chia, who is Vice Dean External Relations and Student Life at the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences at the NUS. Professors, thank you both for joining us today. We also like to let our listeners know that they can find out more about the NUS Open House 2022, and they can do that by visiting your website, nus.edu.sg/openhouse.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.